Hello, beautiful soul tribe. Welcome. It's Alisha Brashay here from Cosmic Gateway, and I am so excited. I'm joined by my beautiful soul sister Jen from Infused with Light. Thank you, Jen, for being here on another beautiful recording. This is a little bit rushed, but I just have to make note. We're recording this exactly at 5:55 p.m. and today is the new galactic year, so we're entering a new phase, based off the Mayan calendar. So hence the reason that, well, one of the reasons why Jen and I are here today to have a bit of a chit chat. So thank you so much, Jen, and for being here and joining. This is a bit of a special treat. So I guess, how are you? Like, how have you been in the last days, weeks, lead ups into, like, I guess this?
Yeah, I've been pretty good until the last 48 hours. I've had some pretty immense heart purging and another layer. There's always another layer of incredibly painful clearing.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the process of that. So I'm a little bit raw and a little bit tender today, but yeah, I'm just getting like a lot of messaging around sacred sexuality, being really discerning with who and what and how we like care for that area in general. So that's something.
Yeah. Wow, that's always an important message, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, because and the other word that I've been getting for weeks now is self-abandonment, that we're real and not showing up for our teams. Like we've kind of abandoned post a little bit, and a real desire to go back to connecting with our source, our higher selves, or our practice, or whatever we do. I think we've all gone a bit wonky at the moment. So that's the messages that have been going on in my world.
yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, I can certainly relate. What's just flown into my head is, oh, my dream last night, but I'll tell you that off camera. But I think a lot of clearing around what I will say, like, yes, that kind of sacred sexuality, always be discerning. I mean, that is such a sacred gift that we have, is that energy and that fusion of energy and the connection of energy. And you know I guess the more sensitive you become, the more energy aware you become, the more discerning you become of who you share your space with. It's a massive topic. We might, if anyone's interested in that topic, we can do a whole segment on that another time.
The term I got was revenge sex. Like, don't go out and do revenge sex, if I'm being completely candid. Not something I definitely don't do, but I think when we're so over our like sacred connections, be it twin flame or whatever it is, soulmate or relationships, we can kind of have a tendency to be like, fuck it and do a 180. But I think that can cause more damage. So I think that's what they're trying to get at.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for elaborating on that, because I'm sure that that's a message for someone out there.
No revenge sex, people.
God, that's why I love doing videos with you. You're so raw and so real, and just what's that term? It just slipped over. What you see is what you get with Jen, and that's what I love.
Uncensored.
Uncensored. That's a good thing. And I guess that's a kind of a nice introductory, because this little energy update, and we are going to go into the energy alignment techniques accompanying this, and it's going to be a beautiful, that's why I'm so excited, and I'm like, oh, got so much to go through. It is going to be a beautiful collaboration with myself and Jen. So we're going to be doing energy alignment technique infused with light language and coding. So super excited to share those with you. It's something a little bit different. And this, I was guided very strongly. There's a bit of a backstory, but these energy alignment techniques with the light language encoding are based around relationships. So going to try and encompass all types of relationships to fit for everyone who's watching, but it could be for your divine, you and your divine counterpart. twin, soulmate, friend, maybe, I don't know.
Potential, who knows?
Yeah, like I guess, you know, we will set the intention that it's going to be specific for whoever is listening, and they'll get something from it, you know, for whatever their intention when they participate and work with that. So where am I coming with this? So this was all prompted. I had a little bit of a download, and just a shout out to Aluna Ash, who's on YouTube and other social medias. I was listening to her update and how she was talking about this galactic new year is based around, you know, divine twins and sacred partnership and masculine and feminine. And I was planning to do a little bit more research around that, because that was kind of the first and only time I've heard about it. So I'm not sure if it's specific to her downloads or if there's more information about it. But I just want to acknowledge that and say thank you, because then it sort of sent me on this little tangent and push to do this and to do it on this date. So it's a little bit rushed. So I do apologize for that, guys. And also I have a few announcements too based off that. So I really, I don't know about you, Jen, but like I've had this, like, I've got quite a lot going on. We had the 10 portal activation days leading up to the end of this cycle of the Galactic New Year and the start of the new one. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, my body has been super, waking up like can barely lift my joints basically.
It's
like
describe.
it's just so much density. It's really frustrating. I get shown like all this like sludge basically, like as if I was a geologist, and there's like all this sludge comes up, and it you know, it's like sediment. It gets hard before we have to kind of let it filter through the water, kind of. That's the kind of, yeah, and that hurts, that process.
There has been a bit ouch.
So now it's like, okay, so sore body, now I'm going through the physical purge, and then I'm like, oh, I just want it to get out of me. I'm still in that, it's still working its way to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you, just while we're talking about it, like, can you share some of the things that you do to help shift through some of that? Because I know you're probably one of the most and I will say it, like, it needs to be said, you are one of the most epic transmuters. What did I call you the other day to someone? You are the epitome of the blue ray in your trans.
I'm wearing my colour today.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wearing it. I was like, I need to wear, I can't wear green. I've been wearing green a lot in my other videos. You might have seen me wearing green. My heart is like, it's out at the moment. It's in recovery in ICU. So.
But I feel a bit the same, actually. This has been a really tender, I know the physical sensations for me have been like really physical heart pain. I haven't had that in a long time to this degree. It's been quite painful, and it's all head as well. So it's like, it's between here and here.
Yeah.
All going down.
Yeah, and I can't remember which side is giving and receiving, but boob, like in between heart, like breastbone pain, like left and right. And for those of us people pleasing tendency, like I get a lot of pain in my left side. So but normally my pain's all head related. So when it's in a different part of my body, I'm like, oh, what are we doing? What's happening? So was your question how I
like what are some of the things that you do to help support yourself through some really, like, because I know a lot of people, and I just want to acknowledge all the people out there who are doing like huge transmuting of density.
Yeah. So all right, let's just be real, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Taylor Swift has a new album out called, I don't know what it's called, is it Folklore? And it's very soft, very gentle. And as you are, you know, intuitively guided, put it on. And then within seconds, my heart was like, and I was on the floor, like pretty much just convulsing and crying. And I was like, oh no, here we go again. Like the pain, the sinus, the headaches, my eyes are being sore. Like I had to go buy spray today because they're like stingy and conjunctivy. So what I will say is, one, you just have to let that the ugly cry happen. And it's just horrible. Like mine was like an hour or two, just so intense. But I think people are so afraid of crying and experiencing that intensity. It's like, oh, I can't. So again, I bang on about this all the time. So one, just going into it and just remembering to breathe when you're in it and just take a step back. Sometimes I write down on a piece of paper, this might not be yours. So just, might not be yours, just let it happen. And then I would say the next day, you have to keep hydrated. Like hydration is so important for your cells, for light language activations, for any energy work. Obviously, the elements within the body, it's so chemical. Water is the most, for me, I think that's the most important thing to have in our body. Our cells can't really do a lot without water. And energy, so eating. So there's that aspect of it. And then I tone. Like instead of like my light language, I'll just hold notes, and that's what I'm transmuting pretty similarly. And then one of my other favorite techniques is roses. They hold the highest frequency of love. And when I kind of know I'm going into a hearty purgy, I put them around the house and I look at them and I just look at their beauty and just think they are just as they are, just being. And so I meditate on that. So they're just some of my weirdo techniques that
Oh no, that's beautiful, because I think it's really cool to share different things that we do, because you take and you adapt from other people and you think, oh wow,
Oh, and because we hold so much emotion in our hips, I do a lot of it's called dragon pose in yoga. You can look it up. Basically, it's like stretching out your hip flexors and stuff. And in yoga, you'll be surprised how much you can release through the body, because a lot of the time we feel like we're releasing here and here, but it needs to be a whole excavation of emotion. So yeah, and then I got a massage today too.
Nice.
Just on my jaw and my head. So jaw and teeth, a lot with ancestral clearing.
Yes, I've got it all. It was a few days last week that I was so sensitive in my teeth that I was like, oh, I hope this is, but it did pass. Get
these two bad boys and you put it right under here and you sort of drag it down the jawline and you'll be able to tell how tender it is. And also in here, there's a ball of muscle. Jesus. And it's surprised how much you can release and how quickly you can transmute from connect, because they're all connected. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's I know more than one person out there need to hear that. So all right, so let's sort of dive deep into it. I'll just go through a couple of my announcements first so that I don't forget rather than leaving them to the end. So I've just put up today the Lionsgate 8/8 activation transmission. So I'll put the link in the description box below, so that the image, the artwork is here that I've created for that. And that one's going to be very much around heart and high heart. So it will be, once again, I'm going to keep it kind of broad. It's going to be around sacred partnership and divine counterpart unions, but it's also going to be very much focused on the high heart activation aspect, which is connection to soul, connection to source, and connection to soul mission. The 3 S's. I just made that up.
You need a whole glossary of your acronyms.
I just made that one up. I don't know where that came from. So anyway, so there is that. Also, there is a project that I'm working on. I mentioned it in the last energy update, and in all honesty, in Alisha Human, I was like, yeah, I'll get to that. And I mentioned the New Light Workers Porter Duty program, and the other one, which doesn't have an official title yet, but it's going to be around divine partnership connections, but focusing on the gifts that it brings through. Now, I've had download after download after download of the content around that, and I'm so excited about it. It's been coming through for about 3 or 4 weeks now.
It's going to be a good one.
I don't think it's been done before, like the diagram, the specific details in the diagrams, and a credit to my beautiful clients, because generally most of the time the downloads to this come through sessions. So I just want to acknowledge and thank all my clients out there for being a co-collaborator, even if you don't know it. But generally I do share that with them and then ask permission to use it. So what I've been guided to do is to continue to take expressions of interest, and I will run one of these programs, and it will be the pilot program in August. That's the push that I've been given. So normally when I run pilot, that's the way I do things. Generally, I'll get a concept and then I'll run a pilot program, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I like it to be awesome.
No.
And then I kind of develop it and flesh it out through that pilot program, and then then I'll advertise it. So I never put it out to the general public when I'm running a pilot program. Generally it's through word of mouth, but I've been told to put it out there. So there's obviously some people out there potentially who will be in alignment for that. And so basically it's going to be to work on harnessing gifts like telepathy and transmuting and energy sensitivity, and really working with the gifts that come through an abrupt awakening through divine partnership. It doesn't have to be, it's not exclusive to. So if you've gone through an abrupt awakening and you think that that's appealing to, it's the way that it's been delivered to me, because there will be components in there that will be specific to divine partnership. So what I will say is, if you are interested, I'll put the details in the description box below, just my email address, so you can email me and just put divine partnership gifts is its temporary name for now, program, and we'll go from there. So I'll be in touch with you there. So that's all the announcements that I have, so I don't forget. And of course, sessions, I have availability open, and also for Jen, so I'll put down below. So I'll do all that down below if you want to connect with either of us for one-on-one sessions. So Jen, let's get into the nitty-gritty, right? I was guided to talk on this video about the nature and the purpose of twin or divine counterpart or deep soul connection, whatever term, and talk about the importance of it from the bigger perspective, from the energetic perspective, from the planet's ascension perspective. And then obviously you've got that aspect, like the broader perspective, and then you've got the 3D element of what's happening in the physical reality. And I think that for most people on this journey is the most confusing, hardest part.
Yeah.
And so I was pushed to talk about how we have to honor the sacredness of that connection regardless of
Yeah.
I know. I'll be honest, I cringe and roll my eyes at some of the things.
We know, like even on your worst days, like it's the higher calling, and we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it for each other, Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that was the prompt to talk about this, and then do the individual audios that we'll be sharing a little bit later. So I guess first to acknowledge like how challenging that component can be, when you have you literally having this multi-dimensional experience that can feel and look the complete opposite, and make you feel, even on a good day, a little bit.
Well, Yeah, I've been harassed and harangued by other masculines in my field. It's a little bit intrusive. It's a little bit yucky. And I'm like, what are you doing in my field? And, I was really resistant to that. But I think the point is, as a transmuter, I get a say. I get a say in what I have to transmute. And the masculine template energy is obviously a big focus. It's like, do we want them to succeed? Yes. We want union. And I think, well, if we're all helping each other, it doesn't matter if I'm transmuting something and that helps get someone into union in Sweden or, I don't know, Japan. That union, whatever it is, whatever label, if there's love and there's a higher vibration, then it's going to be, it's going to help where we are now. There's a lot of yucky, negative, truth bombing. There's a lot of ickiness out there, and it's very easy to get pulled down into it. So we have to do it for each other. And that's what helps me get through. Like, I think, well, would I want to let you down? No. Like, it is a sense of duty. And like today, in all honesty, I walked around crying and just being like, this is too hard. It's so painful. But I know in my heart that there's just so much there's so many things, like through that pain, you can activate, you can have a session, you can heal. Then you start learning about your gifts, and then together as a community, sisterhood, whatever you want to call it, then, like, you're creating these programs, you're creating awareness where, I was talking to someone the other day about, being a mother, and I was like, that, we have to kind of dissect what that means. Like, just because I'm not married and don't have kids doesn't mean I don't have mother qualities and other aspects. So yeah, and it can be really hard, like in 3D. Like, I haven't heard from my counterpart in months. He ghosted me. It's killing me. How could you? Why did you do it? Then I'm bombarded in dream space by other masculines. So I've got this, like, okay, so dream space is like work, like mission work, like transmuting and clearing that. And then when 3D is gunky, it's like, do I ever get a break? Like, so I kind of feel like, I kind of see it like, what do you call it? Escalators, travelators. It's like someone's going down, someone's going up. Like, it's this constant, like, and when I'm in it, someone else isn't. And so it oscillates between that.
Yeah. And, I'm just so incredibly grateful for the beautiful souls that I have and have had in my life throughout this entire journey, because it's those that keep you, hold you and keep you sane and pull you up on those horrible days, or just give you that space.
This journey will continually show you your capacity to love and forgive. Even when you think you can't, you always reset to it. Doesn't matter how many times, like, that's it, we're done, I don't want to hear from him ever again, on a very basic 3D level. You do reset to love, because that's my natural state, with or without him. That's my natural state.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. That's what the planet needs. That's what we came to do.
Right. And it's always, thank you. That was so beautifully said. And I loved, actually, what stand out in my mind, I love the fact that, we're all doing this as a team. And, the work that we're all contributing to is bringing people together. You can see that. I had a conversation with a soul sister of mine yesterday, and she was saying, like, how much she's seeing in her work, people are coming together. And nothing gives me greater pleasure than seeing a high vibrational couple come together and, activate and do their work and get on mission, and just literally their frequency alone, then how that impacts the planet.
It just skyrockets, and the ripple effect that has, like, within our planet and outside of our planet is,
and our home planets.
Straight. They are always watching, always sending messages. It's super important for the environment. It just manifests in so many different ways. Like, if you're in a high vibe and you're planting trees, like, that's helping the environment. If you're in a high vibe and you're helping a friend who's having a really hard postpartum depression. Like it's all relative, and it's all, to me, it's all about love, and love transcends everything.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to do. So even in those dark, you know, cursing in the shower, I don't want to be this, I never asked for this. Let's be honest, we all go, well, I go there quite regularly. I think, God damn, I think not again. Not like I've just finished. Could I just have a day where I'm not like or transmuting hectic things or getting new codes?
It's a new full-time job. That's how it.
Yeah. And it took a while to surrender to that, and some days I still am. Yeah,
massively. You remind me. Thank you for your honesty. I really like this. I think, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think this could become a series if you're open to that.
Just and like Flame never watches it. Yeah.
If you're open to that, and if people want to send in questions, I would love to create content from my perspective, because I have so much content that I've never shared that is in my own internal downloads. And yeah, once again, as I said, I'm just getting this massive push to continue to step up daily.
And well, just in my last, before I went into Purgy Poo Pants land, I had like huge remembrance, massive remembrance. People came into my life, someone in Canada who I was like, oh, they were a teacher on my home planet. I had a girl at the infrared sauna who knows all about light language but has never spoken to anyone. Like a lot of young teens are being activated, sort of that, you know, early 20s, the activation coming through. And that's important that they have people to talk to about it. You know, we're sort of moving past that paradigm where people don't talk about it anymore. We're sort of creating that. So so many people are speaking light language now, or drawing it, and you know, it's a real community now. And there's even groups, for God's sakes, in Sydney, and I get excited that it's
Actually, that's a really good point. I think I'm going to post this video and the series, if we do get around to doing it, through my New Earth Children page, you know, which is in conjunction with Cosmic Gateway, but that's specifically more for sacred relationships and children through that. So maybe that's the platform that.
And gosh, and that, like, we're talking about it, and I just got the little "don't forget about us" in my head. Like, I haven't even mentioned that spirit children or your own children. It's kind of about them on a bigger scale too. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world about them, but then on the ascension aspect of it, there's, you know, we need to be doing all this so that they have a better planet, and that they can keep raising the frequency to what we need, so that
you know, I had this really strong and profound message that's kind of been hovering for a few days, and I was like, you know what, it's so right. Like, it's so right. This ascension really, on so many different levels, is all about the children and the new generation. And I look at like what's happening from a human trafficking level on the harsh reality of what is changing in the world. And then you've got these high vibrational children that are, you know, coming through, and really it's all about them. And
think about the frequency that they're holding, but the speed in which they're able to learn, like, it's just, I don't know, I don't even know what that looks like.
No,
when that kind of that wave comes through.
Very, very excited. Oh, I've just got all excited now. We can do a whole episode on that sometime soon.
Well, no one talks about it, so we know that's just the whole point of these conversations that we're doing. And I get really sick of, I think what the hardest thing for me is no one was honest when I was looking for stuff. I was like, oh, this is bullshit. So I don't want other people to be like, oh, you know, it's all love and light and happy. It's not. It's hard yakka. How's that for some Aussie slang?
I think for people who are watching who aren't Australian, you might need your Australian slang dictionary. But
it's good for
right?
Good to grow.
You'll be right, mate. Two things that come to mind, and that's what, just raw, honest. Yeah, that's kind of.
There's no point. That's just another facet of yourself that you're not.
Authenticity. I mean, it's
Yeah,
all, this year is all about truth and truth coming to surface. So, we've got to exercise that in our own ways in our own life. But, talking about the brutality of this journey, my journey this year has taken yet another unforeseen plot twist of, disconnect, and that has been incredibly hard, and hence why I took a bit of a hiatus from recording for a while, because I just couldn't put myself in front of a camera. Promise myself. I'm having a bit of an emotional day today. I'm kind of going from tears to
right, we'll just all cry.
Anger.
I didn't put my waterproof mascara on because I was like, I need to look like I'm not dead on camera, so we'll just roll. But it's been hard, and I guess one of the things is I'm sitting here going, I want my counterpart to step forward and tell me the truth, like be authentic. So if I can't be authentic and I'm not in my, it's all mirror,
It is, and I think I have the same sort of grievance, and I know so many other people do, is we want that truth, we want that authenticity, so we have to put that mirror back on ourselves and look at other ways that we can be honest and loving and truthful and authentic. So
and I think, that's another thing, another topic that came through for me this week was imposter syndrome, and like feeling like a fraud, like with your gifts and talents. Like sometimes just being like, this is like, what do you, and I think that's natural for when you go through a certain level of energetic work, like, and that's really dark place to be in. So I feel like I don't know whether that's like lower vibe energy is like coming in and infiltrating, but
I was about to say, it could be,
so that's been floating around a lot, and I've had a few clients and friends say that to me. So if you are experiencing that, just maybe be aware of it and send it back.
I went through a really big challenge earlier in the year, and I was dealing with a lot of interference, and there were days where I was like thinking like my self-worth was just zero. Like I was like, what am I doing? I'm not helping people. This is yes. And I'm checking myself because that's not my normal thought process. And I was like, wow, but that's part and parcel. We have all different types of days and experience. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, or.
And I just joked with Alisha before. I was like, can you tell I've been crying all day? Like, that's where I'm at.
So, this is a very quick impromptu, and I pushed Jen, so thank you for working with me. It was like, because when I switched on the camera, there was the sun it wasn't pitch black outside, and it was just beautiful. There was a tree, it was a beautiful blue, similar to Jen's jumper, and I was like, oh, quick, we need to get before the sun goes.
You did it.
But two things that I want to share that have come to mind is based on listening to you and what you were saying. Like, I remember a couple of years ago going through a really triggering time that kind of like, it was very alchemical. It felt like it ripped me apart and pushed me back together. And it was basically, my counterpart just saying, no, this is just a platonic friendship, which has been a thing that we've gone through, and obviously a really big trigger for me, and I had to go and work through that. And I remember that was one that I came through really quickly, and what really helped me come through that was, I think I mentioned it on a podcast that we did, was that I got myself into bigger picture mission perspective. And it was like, if every divine sacred relationship came into union on this planet, and I had a hand in assisting that somehow, and I don't make it up, I'd be okay with that. Like, because it is about, the greater picture of the planet and Mother Gaia. And, you can only, you can sit in that place for a bit, but of course your human element of your own personal wants, needs, and desires that will always creep back in, and
Yeah.
your heart's yearning, ultimately. So
Wow, huge orb. Sorry, I was just like, wow.
I saw that one too. I was like, what the?
Yeah. Who knows what the galactic, maybe it's Galactic New Year confetti for us. Yeah.
Yes. Celebration.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I remember crying, and the reason I want to bring this up is this is what has got to me. Ooh,
I know, I was getting teary. I'm just so. Ugh.
this is what's got to me today. Is like I come back to this memory of this conversation, and when I allow myself to think about the heartache and the hardship that has been part of this beautiful journey, because it has brought so many beautiful gifts, and I can't not share that. And I've just got, and we'll continue to keep on giving. I just remember like the turning point in my life when all this sort of really started to amp up. Sorry. I kept going back to, I never asked for this.
Yeah.
I never asked for this. From a human level, I never asked for this relationship. I never asked to go on this pregnancy journey, and all I actually asked for, what was my declaration to the universe at that point in time, was that I want to serve humanity in its highest capacity, and whatever that takes, bring it on. And that was all I really asked for, was to be in service and on mission. And yeah, just how it has unfolded has been incredibly life-changing in every way. And you just you just look back and you go, what on earth?
I've got no choice. Like, that's like me today. Like, I was walking around. I woke up crying. I couldn't stop crying today. And I was talking to my heart going, oh my God, I just don't know how much more we can take. Like, how much more can you actually take? And yet magically the heart is, it is a magical healing tool. And yeah, it's today, not today, I'm not going to get there today, but in a day or two when the energy passes, and and I think, I'll be completely honest, I have like blocked my counterpart because it was just I'm at a point where I'm so raw and so tender. I can't look, I can't know, like, it just, it's like, I think you all know that feeling. It's like, oh, it's just the worst type of grief. Like, it's just it's so debilitating, and it hurts. Like, it hurts so much. And I think we're afraid to be like, to tell each other like this. It feels like, it can feel like well, for me, I was like, it's just such an emotional death. And I did see a photo of him, and he just looked, and I just was like, oh, I just love him. Like, my heart just like, and you just can't help it. And I was like, you just have to surrender it. I was like a big crying mess, and I just thought, oh, it just is what it is, and it sucks sometimes, but our compass and our soul knows what it's doing, and I question that, but
Yeah.
it does. And I think the more we trust that and get out of the head space, it's getting back into that heart space, not just about our whoever said person is, but like the other aspects that we love. Like, I love travel, I love the ocean, so I love talking on my podcast about things that help people, like with mental health, like other things that we love, because our heart is so big. It has the capacity and the frequency and that vibratory field to emanate so much more than just romantic love.
And
that's what I'm trying to remind myself of today.
I agree. That's kind of been in my yearning, wanting, kind of pulling in, especially over the last couple of months, is I want to be back in that space that I know I can get to, where I'm in love with life. I'm in love with myself. I'm in love with everything everything that's connected to my life, and just feel that unconditional love for life and the journey and everyone involved itself, and not have to feel the heavy burden of
Yeah.
yeah.
And because the mission can be really hard too. Like if you're a Blu-ray, that's twin aspect, sorry, divine counterpart aspect aside, that's ancestral shit. That's just it's family, dysfunctional, abusive. Blah. So it's hard. So we need to just let it naturally. You just have to let yourself have those days, but still try to have the awareness that it's going to pass and you'll get back into that heart space.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that conversation. That was that was completely unscripted. I didn't know where we were going to go, but whatever needed to come out was going to come out. And I really would like to do more of these. I know we've been talking about it for a while, but perhaps now is the time,
Yeah. Like, this is where we're at. We're not always like, look at me, I'm light languaging and I'm activated. I love it when I have those days, but today is not one of those days.
No, I agree. So, yeah, thank you all for watching and sharing this space with us, and I hope this has helped in some way. If you have certain questions or themes or topics you'd like us to talk about around relationships and partnerships and soul aspects and all that good stuff, we have 1,000,000,001 things that we could share, and we're at that point that we want to and openly and honestly exploring. So I just realized I don't have that's okay, my little notebook. So I'm going to show the images. They're going to look a little bit different to what is on the screen, because obviously this is a collaboration between Jen and myself, doing energy alignment and light language. So I'm going to show the images, tune in, and then there will be like a name and a title for each one, but you can go down and select. So I can't even remember the name of this one. Can you? It's hang on. There's this one here.
No, mind blanking. We only did it like not that long ago.
I know. I'm mind blanking.
That's my favorite one. So that's a very heart.
Yes. So if you feel drawn to that one, that's the first one. The second one, this is Star-Crossed. I remember the name of that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if so that one there with the blue and the pink and the cross. Sorry, that's a bit bright. It's not taking it up. And then finally we have this baby here.
Hey. Whoosh.
So they're the three energy artwork. Jen and I are going to do a guided process and light language accompanying the artwork. And thank you, Jen, for doing the codes. So the codes you'll see on the actual video, you'll see the codes that Jen has put in accompany with the artwork that I've done. So it's a full fusion collaboration. Look out. I hope that you guys enjoy and have enjoyed watching. I've thoroughly thank each and every one of you who watches and shares and subscribes and all that to both of our channels and our work. It really means a lot. And yeah, we would love your input. So 8/8 Lionsgate activation sessions, individual sessions, Jen and myself, and then the expressions of interest for the Divine Partnership gifts program, and Jen will be a part of that somehow. So if you like hanging out with us,
real,
by all means, send me an email and we can have a bit of a chat. So until then, thank you all, and sending much love, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.